Hi friends, it's Doreen here, and today we are going to make root beer float cupcakes. Now I've made these a few times and I thought I'm going to share this with my friends. I know you're going to love it. This is a perfect birthday party cupcake, or get a cupcake for the upcoming summer. It's really tasty. I've made a few, I've made them a few times and they're a big hit. So you got that next birthday party or special occasion picnic, this is the cupcake for you. So it starts with one box cake mix, and we're going to use, I used the super moist white cake. And we're just going to adjust some of our ingredients. So let me get a spatula here. We're going to use room temperature ingredients, like we got room temperature melted butter. We have room temperature eggs. And we're just going to doctor it up. Now, one of the things we're going to put in there is a little extra vanilla, and we're going to put some root beer extract. You definitely need that for this. And I've made it different ways, and pretty much I think I'm doing it the same way I've always done it. But put your cake mix in the bowl, and let's go ahead and start with our butter. We're going to use a half a cup of butter. Probably unsalted be the best, but I accidentally did salted, so it's not the end of the world. And on our icing, wait until you see the icing. It's so yummy. We will use so let's put the eggs in next. Let's correct that. But the icing is I've made usually like a marshmallow cream, buttercream, because it gives it that light and fluffy ice creamy melted ice cream texture a little bit. That's the closest that I found is pretty good. But I did see recently a recipe that's like a vanilla ice cream flavor. I'm like, oh, I might do that, because that would be really cool too. Because really that's what a root beer float is, right? Root beer soda and vanilla ice cream. That's root beer float. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, so we went ahead and put our 3 eggs. Now, usually we would use, like most recipes call for, 3/4 to a cup of liquid. And we're going to substitute our liquid. We're not going to put water. Oh, I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of sour cream. That's room temperature too. And then we're going to go ahead and put a very strong root beer. You want to get your favorite root beer. I've used different ones, and this got recommended to me by someone, so I'm gonna give this a try. And I did taste it a little bit with I made that simple syrup to go with our to put on our cupcakes after they bake. So we want about 3/4 a cup. Definitely, if you're making this, you gotta have the root beer, and you have to have the root beer extract if you want that strong flavor. So I'm going to use about a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Remember, we're doctoring this up, so we want to have a lot of flavor in there. And we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of, oh, this extract smells pretty good. You know what? I think I might be okay with 1. This is pretty strong. I've never used this one before. What brand is it? The Big H. It says it's the best home style root beer. It's very, I've smelled others, and that's really strong. So I might just get away with. Now let's go ahead and mix this up. One idea I had was, so I want the cake to look a little bit dark, but not too dark. Let's mix this up on low. I'm using the hand mixer today. I want that cake for people to, you know, obviously you want it to be colored enough. And I thought I might need to put chocolate, like maybe some powdered baking chocolate in there. But you know what? This looks dark enough. Because when you're serving it, you want people to, you know, you want it to resemble root beer float color. And I think this is going to be good because, boy, that extract is... We're just going to beat that for a couple of minutes. I'll get the lumps out. I have an oven preheating to 375. I want to give this a little taste, even though there's raw egg in there, because I just want to make sure. I think that's pretty good, but I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to put about a teaspoon more. Boy, I don't want to waste any of this. It was expensive, but this friend, he really wanted to. When I told him I make these cupcakes, he's like, ooh, I'd like to have that. Will you make that, Doreen? And I'm like, yes. So I'll finish whipping this up and then we'll scoop it into cupcake liners. So I beat that for about 2 minutes. You don't want to overbeat it. Let's scrape that bowl down a little bit. Yeah, that's good. And we're going to use one of these measuring scoops. Where is it? Because you want your cupcakes to be all uniform, and I forget what size this is. Let me see. How's it on the inside? Well, I thought it told how many spoons that was. It says 18 by 8. But anyway, this is the size. It's a Pampered Chef. I love this thing. We're just going to dip in there and scrape along the side and scoop out. Let's see. Let's put a little light on. There we go. This is just kind of the right amount per cupcake. My daughter-in-law, she loves root beer floats. We lived in Texas, and they used to live right next door, or across the street. And we'd get together and play board games, do fun stuff, and that was one of our desserts that I don't think she ever had it, and she liked it. She was on a kick for a while with them, and this is just a offshoot of that. I'm like, just wouldn't that look super cute to have these? So let's get these in the oven, and we're gonna bake these. It won't take long at all. Remember, we have a 375-degree oven, and let's see. cupcakes about 13 to 19 minutes. Let's try. I'm gonna do 15 minutes. I think we'll be all right. Let's take a look. These have been in here 17 minutes. Be very careful. You don't want them to deflate. I think it needs one more minute. They smell great. So we'll let these cook one more minute. We're going to set them on a cooling rack. Wait a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes before you try to take them out of the pan. And let's get some other ones going here so we can put those right in. So I was hoping I could get 6, but 6 more. Let's see, can we fill a hole? Let's get those out. We don't want to overcook them. They look pretty nice, don't they? My hair is flying away from the heat. All right, let's put this next one in. I need one more. All right, so we've got that heat on high. And this is going to take a little while for this to simmer down. And I'm going to, let's see if we got, maybe this is just going to be a cup. It's going to be a cup and a half. And we want this to reduce down. Woo, I had that pan on. We got some steam going on here. So we'll get that to a little bit of a rolling boil, and then we'll put it down to a simmer. And it probably is going to take about 25 minutes, half an hour maybe. Keep an eye on it, because if you reduce it too down, it's going to be thick like a honey, and that's not what you want. So we've got that at a good rolling boil. We're going to turn that down to low first and let it simmer. So we've got our simple syrup. I'm going to coat these cupcakes. Try not to get it all over the wrapper, though. Because I don't want the cupcake wrapper to be all sticky. So I'm trying to be careful with that. Probably should use a bigger bowl because it's dripping all over the place. And my finger's getting sticky, so wash them off every once in a little bit. I wonder if I just go like this. Yeah, that's working. Just let it drip down a little bit so it doesn't drip down on your... Just try not to squeeze them too hard either. This just gives that another layer of your root beer flavor. You don't have to do these on a cupcake. You could do them on a layer cake too. I call this the fun size though. And then left here. We'll wait on those other ones just a few minutes. We can take them out. Wash the hands. Let's make the icing. So we're going to take 1 stick of salted and 1 of unsalted, and the one is room temperature and the other's got a little chill to it. It's still like almost room temperature. Actually, it's been sitting out for about an hour, so it might be a soft. It kind of, with making this recipe, you don't want your butter so soft that it's gonna kind of like melt. A lot of times when you make this kind of icing with we're going to use the marshmallow cream in it. Yeah, this is good. It's got a little chill to it, not much. And some people recommend like butter and shortening, but I didn't want to do shortening. I wanted to strictly do butter, so let me wash my hands. This is more of a little bit of a runnier icing. It's not as stiff as like a regular buttercream. Let's get everything ready here. I'm gonna use that 7 ounce. Is that 7 ounces? I think so. Maybe a little over 7 ounces of that whipped topping for. All right, so let's beat this a little bit. I thought I would do it in this because you can see it better. I wanted you to be able to see the consistency. Just getting the biggest chunks out, and then we're going to add that whipped cream, that marshmallow cream right to this. I first started doing this, oh gosh, when we lived in Texas, so I guess maybe 10 years ago. Gosh, where does time go, right? Get that more whipping. Incorporate that butter right through that whipped cream, or whipped cream. I keep calling it whipped cream. Marshmallow cream. Let me just take this out so you can get a little look at. Get a little look at that consistency. So while I had these cupcakes baking, I was going back and forth. Am I going to do this like vanilla ice cream? I'm going to try it, but I am going to put a little root beer in here too, because I definitely want to make sure. I always get nervous that it's not going to have a strong enough. No, let's not add our flavoring yet. Let's see if some of this ice cream. Oh, like I said, I'm nervous that it's not going to have a strong enough root beer flavor. And it usually always does, but. So you're going to take some vanilla ice cream. Get yourself like a quarter to a half a cup. We're not going to use that much, but you're going to let it melt some. Set it here. And we're going to slowly add about 4 cups of confectionery sugar. And I'm not putting it in all at once, little at a time, because especially that I'm doing it in an open bowl instead of by my Vitamix. We don't want a big cloud of confectionery sugar. Let me know what your go-to cupcakes for fun birthday parties. One of my very first fun birthday cupcakes that I started to make years and years ago was a pink lemonade, and my friends loved them. And I haven't made them in years. I keep saying, I'm going to make them, I'll probably need my one friend to come and see me. You know who you are. Come and see me. I'll make pink lemonade cupcakes. At her daughter's wedding, she had a cupcake bar instead of traditional wedding cake. And I made that for her and her husband for their wedding. And that was such fun. So we did one, like a really huge cupcake. You can buy those big cupcake pans. And I don't even remember how big it was, but and then I did like, I don't know, 100 and something cupcakes. And we had the pink lemonade. We had a kind of a basic white, and with I think it was like a champagne white ice. It was a white cupcake, a white champagne buttercream with a little bit of lemon curd and pretty white sprinkles. And then the third was like a mocha. And we put, we set them out pretty, and everybody we set tubs of frosting out, and people could ice them their own. The cupcakes were there, and they can ice their own cupcake. Kind of fun. And that was a fun day. So it was in June in upstate New York, and it started out, I think, decent in the day, but then it started to rain. Kind of had like sun and rain, and we were out on the dance floor, and it was pouring rain. It was it was fun because she had to be there, like, okay, having our dress clothes on, out there in the rain dancing. How fun could that be? But it was actually, we were just having a blast. So this is starting to stiffen up. We could add a little bit more. And that's the kind of stuff I love. I love get-togethers with family and friends, have a good time. Things can be simple and elegant. And this couple that got married, they're just the sweetest couple. And they've been married for a while now. I'm trying to think how many years. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of, we got some organic vanilla bean paste. We're going to put Let's put a teaspoon of that in. We want this to have a strong vanilla-y flavor. And we're going to take some of our simple syrup and add a little bit to that. Let's add like a tablespoon. And if we need more, we can add it, but we want to be careful not to have too much liquid. It's going to discolor it a little bit, but not much. And we can use up to about 5 cups of confectionery sugar if we need. All right, so let's add a little bit of that soft vanilla, the melted part of the vanilla ice cream. This is the first time trying it with the vanilla ice cream. I thought it sounded really like a good idea, so. Gosh, that was probably like, what, 2 tablespoons? This is going to be sweet. Warning. And I hope I hope he likes this. It's a little thicker. I think we can add a little bit more of the ice cream. Let's give this a little taste. Had to get a spoon out of the drawer. It's right where the camera is, so. Something's missing. It's pretty good, but of course now it settles in my mouth. I can taste that ice creamy taste. That is pretty good. So let's put a little more. That's good. I'm going to do a drop of this vanilla. I don't need any more. And a little drop of this root beer. Let me try this. Because I made that simple syrup that... Ooh. Messy. This kind of looks like melted ice cream in the root beer float a little bit. And the reason why we use a little bit of butter with salt, because this is a really sweet icing. We gotta wait for the cupcakes to be completely cooled. because it'll melt right off there. We don't want that. And I'm hoping this is enough to get another spoon, enough to frost all these. Need something still. Trying to figure out what it is. So when you first taste it, you're like, I don't get that intense taste. Then after it sits in your mouth, you're like, okay, I can really taste that now. All right, I'm just going to use a little more vanilla ice cream. And then I'm going to use a little bit more confectionery sugar. And the question is, with all the stuff together, between the cupcakes and the icing, you get a strong root beer flavor. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's put this away. Let me get, all right, I think I'm done with it. And look at my face, it's all red. I've been working all day. It's getting late. So I'm going to take a scoop of this. And this one is cooled off pretty good. I wanted to give it a taste test. And you can just leave a blob on there to make it look like ice cream. And we'll put cute little straws in there. I'm not going to do it for the taste test, but let me show you. I'll go ahead and frost a few so you can, and let you see the finished product. But so I've got a bunch of these paper straws, and let's just take one out. Get my scissors. And see how cute is that? And we can put a little cherry on the top if we want. But let's give it a little taste test. Before, I've also at times put little white sprinkles, which I don't think I have anymore because it kind of looks like the little bubbles that you see when you know, when you have an ice cream float and it has the bubbles. I have to search for them. I don't know if I have any. I've got green and white, but we don't want that. I got some of the white ones I want, but they're mixed with the green. I'll take a look. I'm getting tired. I don't want to look right now. Let's do a taste test. And then I'm going to sit down and take a break. And then I'll ice these. Got a nice color on there, right? I was a little worried about that. Oh yeah. When you first bite into it, you're like, okay, what's it going to be? And then all of a sudden it rests on your tongue. Yeah, it's good. We could put a little drizzle of our simple syrup on there, right? It's good. So if you want your frosting a little more white, don't add so much of that root beer extract, because that did darken it up. Or if you want it more root beery than vanilla, put less of vanilla. That's good. Let me clean up a little bit here. Take a break. I'll be back. Let's ice these babies. Our cupcakes are good and cooled, so we can frost them now. So I did find those white sprinkles. So, well, they're not as, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Just need to give them a little shake. But that will add a little pizzazz to them. So we're just going to take this smaller little, I think this is a 2 tablespoon. We're going to put some on there. And I believe I'll have enough. I made plenty. And I cut up my little paper straws to put them in here for decoration. You can take some maraschino cherries, drain them well from the liquid, and you could put one on top if you want to do that instead. I see some people make these and they'll put like some root beer candy on top. I don't like the barrels because when I was a kid, I probably was maybe 11 years old, and I spent the summer at my grandparents' house, and they gave me all kinds of treats when I was there for the summer. Well, one of the things was the old-fashioned root beer barrel candy. Remember those? You're my age. I'm in my 60s, my young 60s, early 60s. Anyways, remember those barrel root beer candies? Anyways, I was eating one and it went down my throat, and it wasn't choking me per se because I think I had it in my mouth for a while, so it wasn't as big as, you know, when you first put it in your mouth, but it hurt and it was like stuck in my throat. Of course, back then, your parents or grandparents didn't just run you to the hospital very easily. So they sat me down and had me drinking hot tea. So I drank, I don't know, a few cups of hot tea. Don't remember how much, but that worked. I don't know if I'd recommend that nowadays, but apparently, I mean, if I wasn't breathing, obviously they would have. They didn't have 911 back then, so they would have rushed me to the hospital or something. But that put a damper on having those. I don't believe I ever had one since. That was a pretty traumatic experience. So I'm not a fan of those root beer barrels, and I'm not going to recommend that you put them on here. So we got our little blobs, and we're just gonna, and this doesn't have to look fancy schmancy because, right, it's like ice cream, melted ice cream. And you could put it in a piping bag. I've done that before. I have like little mounds of whipped cream. But it's been a long day. I've been cooking all day and editing videos and mostly cooking and then cleaning up. And so it's just been a long day. So, and tomorrow's another busy day. So I wanted to make this special for my friend's birthday. We're going to celebrate tomorrow. And We'll put some white sprinkles on there. Oh, my fingers are getting so sticky. That's the thing I don't like about frosting. I like when you use the piping, your hands get a little less sticky. And then when you use that little scooper, you know you're pretty much getting the same amount of icing on each. Now if you wanted to smooth it out to make it look like a top of an ice cream cone, you could do that. Now, if this was summer and you're serving this at a summer picnic, you might want to keep these in a cool place because when it's a butter-based, buttercream, um, it's not going to hold up in the heat. You can keep these sealed and unrefrigerated, or you can put them in the refrigerator for a few days. Put them in the refrigerator, that's going to make your cake tougher, so keep that in mind. But this will keep in an airtight storage. I have this. I'm going to put these back in the cupcake pan that I baked it in because I have a snap-on lid for that. And that is a nice way for it to travel without cupcakes getting smushed around. Everybody has to have a cupcake holder. I've got a couple of them. But this one that I bake in, that's my favorite one. Yeah, 3 more left. Let's go ahead and start putting the sprinkles on. I'll do these after. You don't need to see me do every single one, but I get chit-chatting and I forget. Wash my hands, sticky. Let's get a little bowl. We'll pour our sprinkles. Now, something to keep in mind, which I wasn't thinking because I'm tired, but when you're when you're putting sprinkles, you should frost it and then put your sprinkles. It'll stick a lot better. But this one's sticking pretty good. Let's see what I mean. Isn't that cute? I like that. I like with the white sprinkles on there. So we'll do a few. Sprinkle, sprinkle. It looks like little bubbles of ice cream. We got our final touches on our root beer float cupcakes. I had to put our little straws in there, and we'll kind of do it just when you cut them, you just kind of measure it out and just use the end that you cut, put that down in there because it's a little squished. And just basically place it in there. On the side, it looks like I used this brown and white one for the white papers, which you can't tell it's quite white. Got a blue one in there. I use this red one for the red wrappers. I'm getting tired. I didn't pay attention to that. Let's see, do we got any more red ones? Oh, we can put that in the blue. That'll look cute. Oh, aren't these so cute? I think they're so cute. Oh, such a fun little birthday party to have these. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give these a try. Super fun. Let's see. We'll do one more shiny one. Here we go. So, root beer float cupcakes for your next birthday party for someone special. Thanks for watching today, and if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can catch all my latest videos. We got a lot of desserts, everyday meals. We've got holidays and special occasions, and we do a little bit of home decor. Not much, mostly table settings and kind of mantelpieces, coffee tables, simple stuff, but just making our house our home. And I appreciate you taking your time and watching today. So I hope you got a lot of value from this. And let me know if you try them and how everybody likes them and what you might do better. So we'll see you next time.